You just watch yourself. We're wanted men. I have the death sentence on 12 systems. Well, I don't know if Scarif still counts, so let's say not. I have the death sentence on 11 systems. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. We're going to talk about 3v3 for Professor X, guys. I'm kind of scared. We haven't done 3v3 on Professor X since the new changes to GAC, and Professor X is now facing people who have 5 and 6 Galactic Legends almost every single time, and I only have 2 Galactic Legends. It's been a mess in 5s, but there's a ton of off-meta stuff you can do in 5s. In 3s, it's a little more messy. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys the teams that I'm planning to use on a normal basis, and then if I need to kind of combine them on offense, then I'm gonna show you guys those compositions as well toward the end. So they're roughly divided between offense and defense, but that's not a hard and fast rule. It's just a way to kind of divide the conversation just a little bit. I'll cover all of these. Keep in mind, there's going to be a fair amount of overlap between this and my main account. My main account will be running slightly different teams, of course, because my main account is not 6.8 million GP, and my main account is number 39 currently in KYBER 1. So totally different accounts, but there is going to be a fair amount of overlap just because certain characters and teams are just too good to deny at any level. So I'll be doing this for my Prevail Man account, which is at 4 million GP as well. So stay tuned for that. But for now, we're going to talk about this 34 teams, and yeah, it's going to be great, guys. I can already tell you're going to love it. Or maybe it's just me. Whoa, madness. We're in the game. Who thought it was a good idea to go in the game? That is crazy. That Adam guy needs to be stopped. He's being irresponsible with this stupid joke. So here's the thing, guys. I only have 2 GLs, and I don't know exactly what we're going to be using. I mean, almost certainly people are going to be faced off against me and saying, oh, hey, look, this guy only has 2 GLs. I'm going to put all 6 on defense. And here's the thing. If they do that, I might be able to get a little bit wily. I don't know if I have enough time to scout. That's the problem. But I could potentially put these on defense and make it so they can't clear half the board. I can only clear half the board, and I could win that way. Or maybe they'll get smart and put 3 up top, 3 below, and then I have to use off meta or lose, which is something. I mean, the losing part is definitely something that might happen. So mostly they're going to go on offense, and these so Kenobi with Cat typically is what's necessary. You need to put Cat here because she just boosts his stats a lot. Now keep in mind, my relic levels are super low on this account because for a long time I didn't play with a ton of relic levels. I was trying to game the system on this account, and now I've had to pay the price. 5v5 I was fine for the most part. I mean, I could beat people consistently if they had 3 or 4 GLs. It's like 5 and 6 that are starting to get tricky in 5v5. 3v3, it's going to be a different animal. We might just drop to KYBER 3. Who knows? I'm certainly not going to try to do that, though. I'm not going to make excuses. We can provide explanations, but not excuses, right? So here's the thing. Kenobi and Cat go together really well. And if you have to do the mirror match, that Cat is absolutely necessary. For the most part, Kenobi's not going to be soloing things. Sometimes he can. Maybe not at my stupid low relic level, but he kind of can. Cat, though, makes him a Galactic Legend killer. And this team, plus like General Kenobi, is going to generally just be the best team. You can also put Cat, or you can also put Snips here if you wanted to. I don't know what's the best one, frankly, guys, especially for this account. Jedi Master Luke, if you're facing an account that is, I mean, if you're not taking out a GL with this, which you probably will be trying to, he kind of got the short end of the stick. Like, he's kind of the worst one in 3v3, frankly, because he has less people who are using his awesome overpowered leadership ability, and So even though his control goes up a little more, it's harder to get his ultimate, takes a lot longer, and it's just not as impactful. Instead of doing, you know, a huge amount of damage across 5 characters, it does a huge amount of damage across 3, but it's this, you know, it's just a he's doing 3/5 the damage, which, I mean, I guess that can be said for all AoEs. But here's the thing, guys. One of his mechanics that I really like is that call to assist, and it's not just the damage. You can also find some utility with Ayla Secura here because she stuns on basic. So every time you go, this team I like because it has so much control. You can ability block all the time, you can reduce all the turn meter, you can reduce cooldowns, all that stuff between Luke and Old Ben, but then you can also take Ayla and call her to assist and stun. I call it whack-a-mole because your opponent, you can, in 3v3, it's a viable strategy to stun lock your entire team, your opponent's entire team. In 5v5, it's too much of a hassle, but 3v3, it's very possible. And so you can send Ayla to assist every time, just load her up with potency, and she'll just stun all the people all the time, and just rinse repeat until they're all gone, because you can just keep calling her to assist. It's pretty fun. It's a fun time, guys. So, Jedi, Revan, and Grandmaster Yoda, Jolee. This is a really good, really versatile composition, guys. With you have to keep in mind that Revan's going to be slower in 3v3 because his leadership relies on how many Jedi are on the team and all the different bonuses that you get. So he's still in this build. He's plus 25. All the Jedi are going to be plus 25 speed. It's a far cry from the plus 40 speed that you get otherwise. So, I mean, this team can be used to take down almost anything. You can also, I mean, I wouldn't want to take this specific thing against a Rey, a paper cut Rey squad, but, you know, that could work potentially. You know, this will beat Commander Luke. This will beat almost all of the good stuff that aren't Galactic Legends. Now, keep in mind, there aren't a ton of off-meta counters for GLs, and so for the most part, we'll be using these two to kill GLs and then scratching our head against the rest. But this is one of the teams that you have to be flexible with, so I typically want to keep it on offense. Same with this Jedi Knight Luke. Now, you don't necessarily need Mace. Mace is kind of a floater character. I wanted to include him just to show him, but he doesn't need to be with Luke. In fact, Luke and Hoda form a really nice combo, I guess. I don't know what other word. They work really well together. They have some good synergy. He can stun all the people. You know, Hermit Yoda can go first because he's fast. He can call Luke to assist, and then Luke gets a turn, and you stun everyone. Takes out all the First Order teams. Really easy for really high banners. It takes out a lot of stuff. Grievous, I believe. It takes out all kinds of things. Jedi Luke is part of an off-meta team against Supreme Leader Kylo, though, so keep that in mind. But that duo is usually enough. Mace, you know, if you're in a pinch, Mace is going to do some work on this team as well, if you need him. Alright, so next we have Troopers, and hilariously, the average gear for my Troopers increased significantly in 3s, because the other two characters in 5s are always like Range and Stark, who are both gear 9. So, I mean, this team looks half competent, guys. Now, you can kill Darth Revan with this if you have him clocked right, if you know how to do it. I don't think I'm going to be risking it that much. To be honest, you need to have a really fast Piet, which I do. Keep in mind, though, guys, his really fast speed only works well if your Dark Trooper can bridge that speed gap that's between them. And typically people don't have Dark Trooper modded to be that fast. He's kind of naturally fast anyway, so it shouldn't be that much of an imposition, but you are going to have to make him a little bit faster than normal in 5v5, because usually Dark goes after everyone else, well, at least after you've bridged that gap initially with Stark. So just something to keep in mind, guys. Dark might need to be sped up. You can take Darth Revan teams down, you can take down Fin Poe, you can take down all kinds of pretty good teams. I mean, CLS, you can take down as long as your Dark Trooper has high relics. This is low enough relics. I'm probably not going to be attempting too much crazy stuff. Now, Maul on offense, you can also maybe put him on defense. Here's the thing. If you have a droideka that's gear 12 or gear 13, something like that, and you want to, you can make your Droideka really fast, because remember, Droideka gets plus 50% speed at the start, as long as he's not doing his weird shield thing. And so Droideka can be really fast if you... I mean, I have a gear 12 Droideka. I could, maybe. I just don't want to spare the speed mods. So Watt will work as well, just keep in mind. I mean, 5's Maul has that frenzy and everything, and so Watt goes, it triggers Maul's frenzy, and then Canderous can go and do his AoE, trigger Maul's frenzy. Here's the thing. Canderous is bugged currently to gain too much turn meter based off of his allies assisting. He gains turn meter as well, where he kind of shouldn't in his kit, but because of that bug, he works really well in 5v5, even if he's really slow, even if he's going against someone who's like double his speed. Now in 3s, however, he's not, he's going to be assisting Maul, but no one else is assisting Maul, and therefore Canderous is going to be held accountable. He's going to be, in a way, it's like he won't be bugged, but one way or another, you're going to probably want to speed Canderous up a little bit if you're relying on him to get Maul's second wave of shots. So, I mean, you also probably want to be cooler than me and get him gear 13 by the time it's done. You know, that would add a significant amount of speed for mine anyways, but my gearing list is way too long right now, guys. I need Armorer before that. I need all kinds of crazy stuff, Biston and Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, etc. Alright, so next I have Vader with Zalbar on mission, and this team is really fun. I've called teams like this Vader Strangle before, because I mean that's what it is. He does the Force Crush, and then my Zalbar on mission is just kind of sad, like Relic 7 versus gear 11. So they're not super resilient or anything, and I don't know how often I'm going to take this squad, but the idea is, because Vader with his Zeta on his lead is going to never relinquish any of those dots, Zalbar and Mission actually heal quite a bit from that, and they also generate a bunch of damage over times as well for Vader. So over time, even if Vader can't one-shot people with his Culling Blade anymore, he's going to just slowly strangle them with his damage over times, and Zalbar and Mission are going to heal themselves up. I've run this before. It's very satisfying on the teams that it works against. Just keep in mind, if they can kill your Zalbar or Mission pretty easily, probably want to leave that behind. Or if they don't care about damage over times, etc. Now, Jedi Training Rey, you could put it on defense maybe, or offense. Just keep in mind, if you're going to keep it on offense, it doesn't have the crazy regenerative powers that the 5v5 version has, but as long as BB-8's kind of fast, which mine really isn't, it probably wants relics, but BB-8 actually, you know, if you put R2-D2 with them, you're going to be, BB-8's going to be, you know, if he's 300 speed, he's going to be very fast, and mostly in 3v3 outspeed the teams that you're attacking. So this team will take out Commander Luke teams if it's modded well. Keep in mind, all of them want a bunch of crit chance, which seems so strange. They want potency on Rey so that you can inflict all of the debuffs that those dirty rebels deserve. I don't know if I want to take this team specifically against CLS. Maybe. My BB-8 would need to be faster and a little bit more gear probably, but this team has legs. Just keep in mind too, against bounty hunter teams, this might not be the very best one. Like bounty hunters with Bosk might not be the very best option in 3s, because Bosk is a mountain to try to chew through with only these guys. Oh, keep in mind, the reason you want crit chance on them is to do crits, as you might imagine, but that generates more passive damage because they have it also generates expose on your opponent characters. Okay, so Wedge Han Chu, I really like this team because Han obviously goes first, and if you make Han pretty quick, Wedge does this really cool thing where he, as the lead, which I just clicked on his unique, so that was helpful, but Rebel allies have the extra offense, which is nice for Han, of course. They heal themselves a little bit, but okay, so on a critical hit, they gain 10% turn meter, and so Han is starting his fight off with 2 shots with critical hits, And Chewie has the chance to do a crit as well. So Chewie might get 10% turn meter. Han is going to be really fast, and he's going to start with an extra... He'll take his bonus turn, and then he'll start with whatever speed he's at, and, plus 20% turn meter. So mine's at almost 300 speed. Gaining 200 or 20% turn meter is pretty dang nice. It's gonna make him move somewhere in the 400s, I think, somewhere close to 400 at least. So this team is really good. It takes out a lot of different teams. You could put it on defense. I'd want someone else for the defensive slot, though, to be honest. Now, this Bosk, Greef, Mando team, this is probably the pinnacle, frankly, guys. Especially, I used to use Bosk with Boba and Jango, but Jango needs to be on other teams, and Boba can be kind of plug and play here and there. And so, Bosk with Greef and Mando, you get the contract, you disintegrate people. What's not to enjoy? I mean, you have 2 mass assists that you can call, you have a really good taunt, you have a heal and cleanse. Just keep in mind that if you have a relic Fennec, you eventually might want Fennec to go with Bosk and Greef. You can kick Mando to the curb and have them kill a Galactic Legend, kill Lord Vader. So I don't know if these relic levels check out for that. I haven't tested it yet, but that might come up. I'm guessing I'm going to end up trying. Maybe I should get her up to relic 7. I don't know. I don't have enough resources, probably. But if we're not killing Lord Vader with this squad, then you can use Dengar lead, just because his lead is really easy to get, because it's usually going to be on someone who's taunting. His contract is you have to damage the healthiest enemy 10 times. So it's just damage, which means because Fennec hits 10, not 10 times. Well, if you call her to assist twice in a row, then she'll do it 10 times. She hits 5 times, though, which means that all it takes is a couple hits from her, and she's able to get the contract for you. And then she just goes to town. Zam gives them the speed boost so that maybe they go first. It's not a terrible squad. Dengar keeps them alive longer. Or maybe Fennec just goes off on her own to solo things. We don't know. People keep telling me that that's for sure what's going to be her use, and I'm like, you don't know that. You don't know, probably, unless you've tested it, which I haven't seen much testing on her. The tests that I've done have not been that promising for her to solo things, though. Unlike Wampa will womp your face. You guys don't even need to know. If you have the Omicron on Wampa, really good. Keep in mind, too, folks, just real quick, the only reason I'm putting Zam on this squad is because she has her Omicron. If you have a Zam that doesn't have an Omicron, first off, why not? You should probably do that. Second off, leave her alone, or leave her at home. She is worse than useless in 3v3 if she doesn't have her Omicron. Her Omicron still gives a decent amount of speed. She's just kind of a fourth wheel kind of girl, and doesn't really have a place to go in the land of 3 wheels. So one team that I'm really excited to use on this account this season is going to be Akbar with Han and Leia. Now, I do have 2 Omicrons on them. That's a heavy investment, but here's the thing, guys. And I really need to put more gear on them, too. I mean, just gear hungry. But Akbar is going to be gaining a ton of turn meter. Stormtrooper Han gives his team a ton of turn meter, and he gives himself a ton of turn meter. And Akbar, with the Omicron, is going to be having all of them call each other to assist over and over again. And the awesome thing is, so ally's buff expires, that ally gains 3% turn meter. So Leia's just going to be giving a ton of turn meter out because she's handing out a ton of buffs as well. So all of them get that. And then all of them assist. The allies who assist, because it's 3v3, like they kind of just all have to assist. There's not enough people to pick and choose between who the healthiest is. So the allies who assisted have their cooldowns reduced by 1. Now the weakness of Stormtrooper Han is that his taunt is like overpowered. It's so good. Every time he gets damage, let's see, when Han is damaged, all allies gain 20% turn meter. The problem is it's a 4 cooldown thing that can just be dispelled with no recourse. You can't just be like, hey, that's cool. I'll just, I'll see you guys in 4 turns, and otherwise I can't do anything. The thing is, he's going to be assisting so much on the Akbar team. His cooldowns are going to be reduced. A lot of times, he probably won't even use his shot. He's just going to be taunting every time. And So he's going to be giving everyone a bunch of turn meter all the time. So very, very interested in this squad. Obviously a little lower gear, but something that I am super intrigued by. And because I already had the Omicron on Akbar, I was like, you know what? This is my alt. I'm allowed to have fun. So I put Relic 5 on Leia instead of 3. Remodded her to be like 330 speed, so she's 355 under Akbar, and put her Omicron on. It's going to be a good time, guys. It's going to be interesting. So, all right. Gosh, okay, so this one requires some explanation. The other Night Sisters that are good out of the 5 are on defense, and they have a really good defensive comp. So I'm just trying to make the most of it. I don't really have a ton of really good First Order characters anyways, so he can kind of act as a tank. Daka can still revive him, and otherwise these two can get up to some shenanigans. They can, old Daka can stun lock everyone in conjunction with crew, and you kind of just whittle them down over time. I don't think this is like a world beater team. If they kill your Daka, like, she's probably not coming back. Like, Talzin might be able to revive her, but my Talzin isn't good. Maybe your Talzin's better, but this is one of those teams that probably just stays on the bench, or we just grab crew and put him on a different team. You're like, hey, I'm gonna have you, go hang out with bounty hunters for no apparent reason. So that's what he's doing, or maybe with Darth Vader. I'm not sure. Now, Kira Nest is a really good combo. Remember that Nest doesn't always need Kira to help babysit her. Sometimes she wants Farm Boy Luke. Here's the thing, in 3v3 at this GP level, a lot of times Nest is going to be able to find something to solo. And so we're going to have Wampa soloing things. We're going to have Nest soloing things. It's going to be a good time. And, yeah. Going to be a good time. So if you're like me and don't have Star Killer, EP Mara is still going to be a lot of good. Just keep in mind that because in 5s, like Mara Jade is better in 5s because she does all the debuffs to people. She gains all the turn meter because of those debuffs, and you can rinse repeat. Also, there's going to be 5 people in 5v5 who are shocked usually, and in 3v3 only 3 are going to be shocked. Therefore the turn meter gain on Palp and Mara are just not going to be enough. It's still going to be good, it's just not enough to duo a lot of things. Well, I take that back. It might duo some things, but sometimes you're going to want the extra boost. You can take TIE Fighter Pilot to give you said boost in all the debuffs and everything. You can read Palpatine's kit, but these two fit like peas in the pod, so to speak, and TIE Fighter Pilot really does work well with them because he's really fast and stuff. Mara Jade, once you get her up to relics, then she can be ridiculously fast, so she'll outspeed TIE Fighter Pilot. But until then, here, let's do it. Let's just check, guys. I wonder, I need to put more 6E mods on him, but let's see, he's at 304 right now. What did I make Mara? I've been trying to make her faster. Yeah, she's not fast enough, though. Hurry up, Mara. Be faster. So, another team, guys. So this is on... so that team also could be on defense, guys. Honestly, if you have a really, really, really fast Mara, your opponent might not have something that can just deal with her. My main account has a 365 speed Mara, and it's like, well, I don't know what can beat that speed-wise, really. I mean, a few things, but it's an okay defensive team. If you want to force your opponent to use CLS, or to use Han and Chewie, this is the team. Now, this Boba team, I put them with some bounty hunters. I don't know that you need to do that. Like, Boba's just kind of a plug-and-play character. Once again, I'm just showing you guys options. I don't know what teams this... Like, I'll find a team to be able to beat with it, but Boba's just going to be doing a huge amount of damage. IG-88 works well with him because of reasons, like he's generating debuffs and everything. Cad Bane can help with stun locking people and also causing debuffs. And then Boba can shoot a missile at your face, and in 3v3 it's pretty devastating because there's only 3 characters, and he can ignore taunt and everything. He's pretty good. He doesn't suck, guys. Alright, so... Final offensive team, Hunter, Tech, and Echo. You could put Wrecker here, and Wrecker is a legitimate option instead of Tech, but my Wrecker sucks, so we're taking Tech instead. So let's look at the defensive comps, and this video is already taking a while, so probably going to try to zoom through this a little bit, because we still got to look at the off-meta Galactic Legend counters. So General Skywalker, here's the thing. With the 501st, General Skywalker works really well with all of them, but the two combos, like, you generally want to keep as a generalized rule, Echo and ARC Trooper together, so with a leader, whoever that leader may be, and then Fives and Rex go well together. And there's a few different Han and Chewie builds that can actually beat General Skywalker with Echo and ARC Trooper, but at those time Han and Chewie teams really struggle against this comp, against the Fives and Rex. And actually, ever since he got his rework, yeah, I think, yes, okay, so I'm not just taking crazy pills. That does, it's still relevant. Those counters are. I was just trying to remember the timeline, but from when he got nerfed. But, wow, he's only relic 6. What am I doing? What have I done with my life, guys? So, Shakti goes with the other clones, whoever they are, really nicely. She speeds them up. She facilitates them. This team can be a huge pain in the butt. It can be good on offense or defense. I like defense for it, just because your opponent, if you make her fast enough, you can really mess with your opponent. Now, this team may come on offense for me sometimes, or defense. Here's the thing. Ki-Adi-Mundi makes the team ridiculously fast, as long as you keep all Galactic Republic Jedi here. So Qui-Gon's giving plus 30 speed, Ki-Adi-Mundi's giving plus 30 speed, and then he gives himself another 20 speed. So if you make your Ki-Adi-Mundi fast enough, he's going to be plus 80 speed, and he's going to be able to do some huge damage. So just keep in mind, I think this team hasn't changed from 5v5 to 3v3. It's just changed, like, in effectiveness, it's the same. It's just changed because what else beats it? Like, Bad Batch doesn't beat it. Night Sisters, I mean, that's problematic to the extreme, especially with Ki-Adi-Mundi. They're boosting Jedi Knight Anakin's damage, so it's a mess, guys. Next, we have the Commander Luke team. So if we have Han and Chewie off floating around somewhere, the CLS team, this is surprisingly good on defense, guys. There's a ton of turn meter shenanigans. You want to mod them for tenacity, to keep the Jedi Training Ray comp out of there, and then put a crit avoid arrow on Luke for 3v3. A lot of times that's going to help because, again, Jedi Training Ray is going to try to crit you, and you don't want to be crit. You don't want that exposed damage on you, and so the crit avoid arrow, not to mention his initial starting stance, is going to make it very difficult for them to either apply debuffs to you or potentially and crit you. General Grievous is such a weird character, guys. On defense, so with 5v5, I love him so much. He does so many cool things. In 3s, it's like he just doesn't have enough momentum. It's like maybe he would truly be good in 4s, like 4v4 if we ever did that. But as it stands, I mean, I put these two droids with him because Magna Guard has some really nice bonuses with Grievous, and B2 can be a pest here and there. But, I mean, don't expect it to hold. In 3s, it's just not as good. Now, this Darth Revan team, I use it as the full bastard. You can also, if you want to be crazy, you can put like Marauder here as the third, or HK or something like that. I really like to keep these guys for offense, to be honest, because they're really good to kill other teams, just as a trio. Or you can actually split them up and have Malak solo something. You can solo a third team with Darth Malak, and then Darth Revan and Basti can kill something for the middle max banners. So I really like it for offense. Defense, it also holds if you make your Darth Revan fast. You could also try to make your Malak a little bit faster than Revan. I think that was just to stop like the Vader counter, though, and Vader is not a counter for it anymore after he was nerfed. So this is the Galactic Legend Newt team. This team doesn't look nearly as strong as it actually is. It's very, very difficult to beat if you don't know how to beat it, because it absorbs a punch so well. You've got Newt, who, if he dies, he just goes into stealth. He doesn't actually die, he revives himself. Jango is damage immune, and B1 has stacks. Therefore, if someone comes in, start charging in, and they can do a huge amount of damage right away, then that's great. You can just weather the storm. And then Newt just puts extortion on everyone. He slows the entire team down. Jango's just doing huge amounts of damage eventually, and B1 is pervasively healing them and doing an AoE, applying a target lock, doing all kinds of annoying stuff. So really good team on defense. Okay on offense, but it's inspired on defense. It is so good. Call it GL Newt for a reason. Now, this Mothra team, this isn't gonna get any holds. But for my account, I'm gonna need to have a couple fluff teams. So this is okay. We could maybe keep it for offense and put something else on defense. We might be able to find. This might be able to beat like Ewoks or something. I don't know. Old Republic, probably. So this is the Night Sister team that I really like on defense, because Asajj Ventress has so much cool stuff on her leadership and her unique and everything. Like she ramps her damage up, she gives everyone speed, and then you also have all the turn meter gain and reduction stuff. Like the turn meter removal can't be resisted. Like you're going to be a lot faster than your opponent, and even though you don't have Daka here to revive you, the thing is, a lot of fights in 3v3 aren't going to last much longer. Like someone will kill your spirit twice and they're like, yeah, I'm going to win, and then they'll lose momentum because Asajj has been ramping up, you've been stealing turn meter, you've put tenacity down on them from zombie, and you get stunned from spirit and Asajj, and it's just over. Like you lose momentum super fast. Now this team would be a lot better if my spirit wasn't just gear 12 plus 0, but the principle holds. This is a very good team on defense if you can handle, if you can spare it at least. So we've got the Geo company. Sometimes you want Poggle on here against like Sith Eternal, just so that you can get ability block on. Like they can finish off a couple different Galactic Legends. It's a little trickier in 3s, but they're good at finishing things off. But on defense, they're also kind of annoying because they have a large health pool, even at gear 12, and you need something specific to beat them. They're less and less of a threat these days. I just put them on defense sometimes on my alt because I always have. I don't know if I've ever taken Geos for offense, actually. I should probably change that at some point. But the Ewoks, I don't know. This is the best team for the Ewoks. You have to have that high-speed Paplu, and then Wicket and Sherpa can, do some damage in a desultory fashion. They're okay. 3v3 really takes the wind out of their sails. Like, what they would really like is like a 6v6 or 7v7 format where all of them could gain a bunch of turn meter from all their shenanigans, and you can cause or create an endless loop, which is why we'll never go to 6v6 or 7v7. But this team struggles in 3v3. It has struggled more. It would struggle more in 2v2, and then it wouldn't exist in 1s. Like Peplu's like, I am taunting really, really fast. So we've got Hux, Crew, or OG Kylo, and my Red Trooper. You can probably, if you have better First Order guys, like get a First Order Stormtrooper in here. Mine is gear 8, so not worth the risk, not worth the headache. But this team is really good. You can take out Kylo to solo something if it's appropriately low level, and this team is, but on defense, it's also annoying because Hux steals turn meter gain mechanics while allowing your own, which is a kind of nice two-way road. So, or one-way road, I don't know. There's some kind of road metaphor in there, I'm sure. Now, we've got the Fin Po team. They're lower gear, but they still get holds sometimes. And sometimes they just get blown away because they're not fast enough. They can't deal with things. I do like them on offense as well, but on defense, people are afraid of them. This is the social contract team, and it used to be, back before more counters were developed, this used to be the team that could, like, I've won multiple matches because they're so strong. Honestly, just because, if Hero Finn gets a turn, he'll hand the turn to Poe. Poe is going to dispel things, and he's going to do a lot of damage. He'll stun someone. Finn will stun someone, and then Hero Finn will get another turn because he is close to the same turn meter or speed as Poe, and then he'll do his AOE, and it's a whole mess. This team is very, very good, very, very strong in 3v3, and I'd like to put it on defense toward the front so people overcompensate and use a way better team than they actually need to. Like, troopers just take care of this team real easy if you have fast enough troopers. For what it's worth, guys. Alright, so we've got the Bando team, and this team is really nice on offense as well. It kills all the Separatists, kills all the First Order other than the Galactic Legend ones, and but on defense, here's the thing: if your opponent uses Geos a lot, like if you're pretty sure they're gonna save Geos for the back zone or wherever you put this, you don't want to keep it for offense, because Geos just school this team really hard. Unless you have really high relics and really fast characters, it's just not going to work against Geos. So highly recommend that you keep it on offense. You put, take Beskar to go with Han and Chewie, whatever, but this is an okay team defensively if your opponent is like me and places their Geos on defense stupidly. So next we have Traya with, I don't have a good Scion, so Scion would definitely go here, probably should go here, but my Scion's not that good yet. So Nihilus you just can't replace, and he gains a bunch of health anyways, but Thrawn is good just because you have double control. You have isolate and you have fracture here, so it gives Nihilus, kind of opens that pocket, protects that pocket with Nihilus in it, so that he can force drain people and get his annihilate pretty quick. Remember, it's going to take longer to get it because in threes he can only force drain to 3 people at once, maybe 4 if they have a summon. So otherwise, Bo-Katan, Sabine, and armor. This is on defense. I mean, there are worse comps. Honestly, this isn't great though. you probably want to clog it so that Sabine's like 1 speed faster than Bo-Katan, so that she can throw her grenades. And if you have her Zeta, then it has all the staggers on it. Then Bo-Katan can do her AOE and trigger the staggers and give you another effective extra turn. That can be okay. I'm not expecting miracles though. And then finally, Padme with the leftover Galactic Republic. It's okay. I mean, on defense, you'd probably lose to like Palp teams, to Vader teams, to a lot of stuff. So I like it on offense as well. It can work though. It can do some okay stuff. So finally, guys, let's look at these off-meta teams and get you out here. Wow, this video is just freaking long. So here's the thing. This Bosk, Fennec, and Grief Squad kills Lord Vader a lot of times. You need high offense on Fennec. You need to be a little survivable on Bosk and Grief. You definitely need relics. And Fennec, I would say 5 is the very bare minimum. Probably 7 if you're facing good Lord Vaders. And probably, I mean, that still seems dicey. So, This Jedi Revan team can work really well against Paper Cut Rey. If you get Rey down to yellow health, then you can go in, you can charge in and finish her off. That does work. It's pretty expensive, but it still works in the pinch. Now this squad is a little different. As long as your armor can survive an AoE from Kylo, then you're good. Mine probably couldn't at this level, but what happens is he pokes Jedi Revan, Supreme Leader Kylo does, and probably it might kill him, might not, but one way or another, a lot of times it triggers armor to get a second stack, or a third stack, and that third stack she gives to Luke. Eventually these other 2 die, and Luke just solos Supreme Leader Kylo because he's pretty cool. Now, sometimes Supreme Leader Kylo steals so much mastery that Luke starts missing because one of his things in his mastery is accuracy, so keep that in mind as well. But in general, this team will beat a lot of Supreme Leader Kylo teams, assuming the armor can give that third stack of Beskar to Luke to prevent crits. And finally, we have the team that destroys Rey because you can keep her stun locked. Oh, man, someone cheated at one point, guys, and said that, their guild defended them and saying that Daka could just stun lock Rey, because a Night Sister team had soloed Rey, or had beat Rey, and they're like, well, you can just stun lock her. That's no big deal. Which, was just cheating. But one way or another, guys, I'm going to let you go. What team comps are useful to you? I hope this was useful. Let me know in the comments what things are you planning on running. I really want to run a Krennic team, for instance, but that's just not in the cards yet. I just don't have the gear to spare. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.